Ever wonder what separates the businesses that just, survive from the ones that absolutely thrive?
Yeah, I think about that a lot.
Often it really boils down to this, a real deep understanding of their market.
Mm, mm,
Today, we're not just skimming the surface, we're plunging into the power of analyzing market research data to fuel smart business growth and those game-changing decisions.
precisely. Think of it as moving beyond just like guesswork and tapping into this rich vein of information that when you analyze it correctly, it acts like a super compass for your business strategy.
Right, a compass. I like that. And to be our expert guides on this journey, we're drawing insights from a pretty compelling piece by Cognitive Market Research.
Okay.
Our mission today, if you choose to accept it, and hey, you're already listening, so you have, is to extract the crucial steps and those aha moments a company should be laser focused on when they're diving into their market research.
Sounds good?
Okay, so where do we even begin? What are the absolute non-negotiables a company needs to be tracking?
Well, the article lays out several pivotal factors. And right at the forefront is customer satisfaction.
Oh,
It's
sure.
more than just a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
It's a direct barometer of how well you're meeting or hopefully exceeding what your customers actually expect.
How do you measure that typically?
This can manifest in various forms, like those star ratings you see, written reviews, or even more formal systems like Net Promoter Scores.
Right, NPS.
Yeah. Really understanding this gives you a tangible snapshot of your current standing. It tells you where you are right now.
Right, because unhappy customers don't tend to stick around or recommend you, do they?
Not usually, no.
So, what paints the broader picture then? Where a company sits in the grand scheme of things?
That's where market share comes in. This essentially shows you what slice of the overall market pie your organization currently holds compared to your competitors.
Okay, your piece of the pie.
Exactly. And what's really interesting here is that a dominant share might scream success, sure, but even a smaller piece can actually highlight significant untapped potential for expansion and growth in specific areas.
Ah, okay, so it's not just about the size, but what that size means.
Precisely. It's a key measure of your competitive muscle, you could say.
Got it. Now, the article also seemed to emphasize really getting to know who's buying what you're selling.
Absolutely. Demographic analysis looking at crucial details like age, gender, where people live, their income levels provides incredibly valuable context.
How does that translate into action?
Well, we connect this to how you actually reach people. This data becomes the bedrock for crafting truly targeted marketing strategies, tailored to distinct customer groups.
Makes sense.
You wouldn't use the same language or platforms to reach a Gen Z audience in a city as you would reaching, say, baby boomers in a rural area, for example.
Makes total sense. It's about speaking the right language to the right audience. What other vital signs should companies be monitoring in their data?
Purchase behavior offers a really granular view of what's actually happening.
Okay, like what specifically?
This tells you how often your customers are making purchases, the specific products or services they're buying, and importantly, how much they're spending on average per purchase. This kind of detailed information is invaluable when you're making decisions about pricing strategies. And even when you're considering tweaking or expanding your product lines, it shows you what's truly resonating with their wallets.
So if you spot a trend, like customers consistently buying product A along with product B, that might signal an opportunity for, I don't know, a bundle deal.
Or new related product.
Precisely, exactly. Then we move on to brand loyalty and brand awareness.
Right.
These metrics offer insights into how familiar consumers are with your brand name and, crucially, how likely they are to choose you again in the future.
That feels really important long term.
It is. In today's crowded marketplace, cultivating those long-term relationships with your customers is paramount, and these indicators are key in gauging your success in building that lasting connection. Brand recognition and repeat customers, yeah, that's the sweet spot for sustainable growth, isn't it?
Definitely.
And the last critical factor highlighted was keeping an eye on the competition.
Yes, competitive analysis is, well, it's non-negotiable. It's about systematically monitoring and comparing your own performance against that of your rivals.
But not just copying them.
No, absolutely not. This isn't about simply mimicking what they do. It's about gaining a deep understanding of the broader competitive environment, identifying their relative strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately using that knowledge to sharpen your own strategic decisions. Think of it as benchmarking your performance against the external landscape.
So it's not just about looking in the mirror, it's about understanding the entire playing field.
Gotcha. Now, the article peppered in some fascinating fast facts. What nuggets jump out at you?
Several were quite striking. The fact that the U.S. commands a whopping 53% of the global market research share. That really underscores how seriously businesses in a major economy take this kind of analysis.
Wow, over half. Yeah. Also the statistic that a significant 20%, a fifth, of global market research expenditure is channeled into CRM, customer relationship management systems, and customer satisfaction surveys. That highlights the recognized importance of nurturing and understanding your customer base.
That's a significant investment, 20%. On a more granular level, what about how often people actually respond to surveys? Does it mention that?
It does. The average customer survey response rate hovering around 33%.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crucial benchmark to keep in mind when you're designing and then interpreting the results of your own surveys.
Okay, so about a third. Good to know.
It gives you a realistic expectation of engagement. And perhaps most surprisingly, nearly a quarter of organizations, 23%, operate without a clearly defined market research strategy.
23%. Really?
Yeah, that suggests a potentially huge blind spot for a significant number of businesses.
Wow. That really puts a spotlight on the potential benefits for those who do have a solid strategy in place. Okay, now wading through all this raw market data,
Mm.
it can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose, right?
Yeah.
How can companies make this mountain of information more, well, digestible?
Yeah, this is where the art and science of data visualization come into play. The article rightly points out that translating complex data sets into visual formats, think charts, graphs, heat maps, can dramatically improve understanding.
Makes sense?
It makes hidden patterns and trends far more apparent than just staring at endless rows and columns in a spreadsheet.
Right, because a compelling visual can tell a story in a fraction of the time it takes to analyze the raw numbers. Can you give us some specific ways the article suggests using visuals?
Absolutely. Bar charts or line graphs are incredibly effective for illustrating changes over time. So whether you're tracking sales growth month over month or shifts in consumer behavior across seasons, you get an immediate sense of the trajectory.
You see the ups and downs instantly.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Pie charts are perfect for showing proportions at a glance, like your market share distribution or how your customer base is segmented. And heat maps are fantastic for highlighting areas of intensity. Think about where website traffic is most concentrated, or which geographic regions show the highest demand for a particular product.
Ah, so a heat map could visually pinpoint the exact hotspots on your website attracting the most attention, or maybe the regions where your marketing spend is yielding the best results.
Exactly right. And what's so powerful is that these visuals aren't just for show. They actively help in identifying outliers, uncovering correlations, and spotting emerging trends in the data far more efficiently than just poring over raw numbers.
Right.
They also significantly improve how you communicate these often complex insights to different teams within your company, even those who aren't data analysts by trade.
Makes it easier for everyone to grasp.
It does.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it reduces that feeling of being overwhelmed by data and leads to faster, more accurate understanding.
It's about making the insights accessible and actionable for everyone who needs them.
Okay, so beyond just seeing the data laid out visually, how does consistently leveraging market research empower businesses to actually identify those critical patterns and trends, the ones that can provide a real competitive advantage?
Well, market research data, particularly when you analyze it consistently over time, acts like a powerful lens. It allows you to observe the evolving behaviors and shifting preferences of your target customers.
So it's not a one-off thing.
No, definitely not. By diligently collecting and then rigorously analyzing this information, companies can transition from simply reacting to market changes as they happen to proactively anticipating them.
That sounds like moving from playing catch-up to actually leading the way. Can you give us some concrete examples of how this proactive trend identification works in practice?
Certainly. By analyzing historical sales data and identifying seasonal patterns, for instance, a retailer can accurately predict peak demand periods for specific products.
Like knowing when to stock up on winter coats. Exactly. And they can strategically plan their inventory levels and marketing campaigns well in advance. Similarly, by continuously monitoring customer purchase frequency and the types of products they're buying, a software company might identify a growing need for a specific integration and prioritize its development.
So if you consistently see an uptick in searches for, say, a particular type of sustainable material, that signals a growing customer preference you can get ahead of.
Precisely. Market research can illuminate these anticipated trends, like the increasing demand for eco-friendly products or maybe the early adoption of a new technology.
That foresight seems crucial.
It is. It gives businesses a crucial head start over competitors, whether that involves entering a new market segment, adjusting pricing strategies to reflect evolving value perceptions, or enhancing customer service to align with emerging expectations.
Lots of potential actions there.
Definitely. Ultimately, this agility and responsiveness translate into more optimized operations, greater profitability, and a stronger, more advantageous position in the market.
Being able to see around the corner, essentially. It highlights how this isn't just about looking at the present, but really preparing for the future. So, okay, we've gathered the data, we've visualized it, and we're starting to spot these important trends. What are the actual practical steps a company needs to take to translate all of that information into concrete actions that drive results?
Yeah, the article neatly breaks this down into a series of essential steps. The first one is organization and classification.
Okay, what does that involve?
This involves systematically sorting your raw data into relevant categories, things segmenting by customer demographics, grouping by sales trends, or maybe categorizing customer feedback. It brings structure and focus to your analysis.
So you're essentially creating order out of potential chaos first.
Exactly. The next crucial step is focusing on key metrics.
Right.
You need to align your analytical efforts with your overarching business objectives and really zero in on the specific data points that directly impact those goals.
Like what?
Things like customer satisfaction scores, your market share percentage, or maybe the performance of your flagship products. This prevents you from getting lost in a sea of less relevant information.
It's about filtering out the noise and focusing on the signals that truly matter, yeah.
Precisely. Once you have your organized data and your key metrics identified, the next stage is the actual data analysis. This is where you actively look for those underlying patterns and emerging trends.
Spotting connections.
Yeah, identifying correlations between different data points, spotting any unusual outliers, and recognizing recurring behaviors that provide deeper insights into market dynamics.
Okay, then what?
Following this analysis, you move into the hypothesis development phase. Based on the patterns you've uncovered, you start to formulate potential ideas for improvement.
Like potential solutions.
Right. This might involve suggesting a change in pricing strategy, proposing the launch of a new product to address an unmet need you've identified, or recommending adjustments to your marketing campaigns based on observed customer behavior.
So you're taking those data-driven observations and turning them into potential solutions or strategic moves. Makes sense.
Correct. And the absolutely critical final step is testing and implementation.
Ah, you don't just jump in feet first.
Exactly. You don't just roll out these changes across the board immediately. Instead, you apply these proposed ideas on a smaller, controlled scale first and meticulously measure the results
To see if they actually work.
to determine if they are indeed having the desired effect and driving the outcomes you're aiming for. This iterative cycle, analyze, hypothesize, test, and then implement based on the evidence, is the engine that transforms raw market research data into tangible growth and a stronger competitive advantage in the real world.
It's a very methodical process then, moving from observation to informed action and then rigorously validating those actions. Okay, let's pivot slightly to the ultimate aim of all of this, making better, more impactful decisions. How does a robust approach to market research fundamentally enhance a company's ability to make the right choices?
Well, at its core, market research provides a solid foundation of facts and data upon which to build your decisions.
Rather than just gut feelings.
Right, rather than relying solely on intuition or those gut feelings. This evidence-based approach naturally leads to more confident and impactful choices in the marketplace. It ultimately mitigates risk and improves the likelihood of positive outcomes.
So you're making strategic calls based on what you actually know, not just what you think might be the case.
Exactly. And a key benefit of effective market research is the deep understanding it provides of your customers' needs and preferences.
That seems like a huge advantage.
It is. This knowledge gives a company a significant competitive edge because it allows you to precisely tailor your products, your services, and your marketing efforts in a way that truly resonates with your target customer segments.
Which leads to better results.
It leads to a much stronger product market fit, higher levels of customer satisfaction and loyalty, and ultimately more robust sales growth.
It's like having an insider's perspective on exactly what your customers are looking for.
It really is. Furthermore, market research acts as an early warning system by revealing shifts in competitive dynamics and identifying emerging trends in the broader industry.
Scene change is coming.
Yes. By continuously analyzing consumer behavior And monitoring key industry developments, companies can anticipate potential market shifts and proactively address both opportunities and looming challenges.
And it's ongoing, right?
Absolutely. This ongoing evaluation of data also generates critical performance indicators, allowing for continuous monitoring and the agility to make necessary strategic adjustments in response to a constantly evolving market landscape.
So it's not a one-and-done exercise. It's an ongoing cycle of learning, adapting, and refining your approach.
Precisely. The insights derived from market research become an integral part of the company's strategic toolkit, constantly informing and refining decisions across virtually every facet of the business.
This has been an incredibly valuable deep dive, really useful stuff. To bring it all together, what are the key messages you'd really want our listeners to take away about the importance of diligently analyzing market research data?
I think the fundamental takeaway is that consistently and thoughtfully analyzing market research data isn't just a supplementary activity. It's an absolutely essential ingredient for sustainable business growth and making truly informed strategic decisions.
It's foundational.
It is. Having a firm grasp on your customer satisfaction levels, your position in the market through market share, the key characteristics of your customer base via demographics, their actual purchasing behaviors, the strength of your brand loyalty and awareness, and of course the competitive landscape you operate within. All that provides a comprehensive and invaluable perspective on your market standing.
And making sense of that data is greatly enhanced by the power of visualization, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. Transforming complex data into clear visuals unlocks understanding and makes insights far more accessible. And, proactively identifying market trends allows you to shift from a reactive posture to one of strategic foresight.
Letting you capitalize on opportunities.
Exactly, enabling you to capitalize on emerging opportunities before your competitors do. And finally, remember those core steps. Organize your data. Focus on the most critical metrics, rigorously analyze for patterns and trends, develop well-informed hypotheses based on your findings, and then rigorously test your implementations to validate their effectiveness.
All of these elements work together to empower you to make better data-backed decisions and ultimately reduce the inherent uncertainties and risks in the business world.
Exactly. Market research acts as a catalyst, transforming raw, often overwhelming data into actionable intelligence. Ultimately, it empowers companies to navigate the complexities of the market with greater confidence, make more impactful choices, and achieve more sustainable and profitable growth.
So as you're reflecting on your own business or perhaps the industry you're a part of, really consider the untapped potential that might be hidden within your existing data. What crucial insights could be waiting to be discovered that could drive your next significant move?
Good question.
And perhaps more importantly, what assumptions are you currently operating under that a deeper dive into market research could challenge or maybe even completely overturn? It's definitely something to give some serious thought to. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.